Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Boyos Discuss, the podcast where we pick a topic and then shoot the shit about it for a while. I'm Matthew, and I'm joined by my co-host Ben. How's it going, boyo?
Oh, pretty good.
Today we're doing another 2-for-1 special with episodes 6 and 7 of The Bad Batch. Before we get into that, if you enjoy the video, then we'd appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. With that out of the way, let's jump right into episode 6, which was Decommissioned. The official description for that episode is, on a mission to acquire a valuable asset, the Batch encounters smugglers after the same target. Target being a tactical droid's head. So I don't know if people remember, there were those like weird sort of, I guess, like in the hierarchy of droids, there were ones that were like on the command ships and stuff that sort of made the decisions for them. And basically, Sid thinks that would be a useful tool for anyone who wants to fight the clones in the Empire, since she basically was like, hey, who's gonna fight clones better than, like a droid that was taught to learn how to fight them really efficiently. So the Batch goes to this factory where they're decommissioning battle droids, and who are the smugglers who are gonna get it? It's the Martez sisters from the Clone Wars, everyone's favorite characters. And so hilarity ensues, and they reenact the factory scene from Attack of the Clones, where they're having little goofs along the way, and then we almost get the fucking incinerator scene from Toy Story 3. They end up escaping together, though, after this big fight breaks out, because there's these, like, other droids that are in charge of the, I guess, the factory, basically. And so they have to work together to get out, and in the end, Hunter is, he's the one who has the droid head, and he's like, well, I need the money, but the Martez sisters convince them to give it to them, because they're going to use it to basically help build the rebellion, maybe, sort of thing. So after that, they go their separate ways, and we get this little tease of the Martez sisters talking to a hooded figure. What did you think of the episode?
It was cool. Like, there was the battles were really cool. I loved seeing the droids again, because apparently when you're scrapping droids, you leave them with all their weapons. So yeah, like the head kind of becomes conscious and come in, and they hack it to to fight these police droids that are coming after them, because they're doing their good tactical stuff as a fucking Black Ops squad, and then the Martez sisters come in and fuck it all up because they're cancer, and and so the people are like, I get the police droids, which just look like taxi cab robots. They're painted all
You're cutting out a little bit.
yellow and black, and they come in. They're just dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, am I?
You were a little bit. It's fine now, though.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, they show up and they hack the head to fight those police droids. So that was cool to see. And the droids are like, what? Or did we win? Like, what are we doing?
Oh, that was a
What's
great
this?
line. Yeah.
And I feel like they've set this joke up for seasons on seasons. But finally, one of the sisters says something, and somebody says it back, and she's like, is there an Echo in here? And then Echo's like, yes. And he shows up, he's like, what do you want? And it was a stupid joke that I really liked. But
I was just glad in this episode they actually gave Echo and Tech like a little bit of stuff to do. Granted, it wasn't anything like massive, but they both kind of had to work together to get the droid head to actually command the other droids to help them out, because otherwise it would have been...
Yeah, like I've said, that Echo's my favorite part of the squad. Tech's my least favorite, but Tech is at his best when he's working with Echo. I like their synergy, where Tech is like, you're not doing this right, and Echo's like, will you shut the fuck up? And Echo's kind of like the hands-on tech guy, and Tech is the one that's like telling him what to do and doing the electronics and stuff. So I like that synergy that they have when they're both like hacking into the head and stuff. It was cool firefights, even though the sisters were being annoying the entire time. We get to see what's her face, Omega, use that energy bow that she got in the last episode. That's pretty cool. Definitely thought she was gonna fucking kill somebody, because she's like she's training with it and she sucks with it. I mean, it's like she doesn't have like Sid says she has noodle arms, and she can't. She doesn't have the strength to hold the bow, but she needs to practice and blah blah blah. But at one point, that's the only guidance she gets. And then at one point, one of the sisters is talking to her, and she has her bow drawn on her for a good while. And I'm like, are they forgetting about the noodle arms? Like, she's going to fucking just let go on accident. But no, she gets thrown on the belt, and it's going towards the incinerator. And Hunter can't get to her in time, so the sisters have to stop being the dicks that they are and keep her from dying.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, it's like they learned absolutely nothing from Ahsoka.
I know, right?
In their time with her in the Clone Wars, but I don't
know. They're so forgettable. They themselves forget everything.
Yeah, like I don't even remember. Like I remember their last name. I don't remember either of their first names.
There was Rafa and someone. They just like they gave them different hairstyles so that you'd be able to tell them apart because they're just
basically
garbage characters. I remember I was talking about this episode at work with some people that watch it, and he hadn't seen this episode yet, but I was like, those sisters are in it. And he's like, sisters? I'm like, yeah, from the last season. And he's like, what? Like, they have weird hair and they were with Ahsoka. And he was like, oh, yeah, I hate them. I was like, yeah, I feel like that's just like the only reaction these girls get because they suck. Like, they're not good characters. I don't know why they would think that adding characters into the last season of Clone Wars would make them memorable and interesting. They're not. They're just smugglers that are spunky, and it just means they're annoying.
Yeah, well, and like part of because I feel like I had looked into this at some point, but they were going to be in like a much bigger part of because Clone Wars was supposed to be like a few more seasons than what we got, but when they canceled and kind of reworked stuff, they actually changed. Originally, it was supposed to be a brother and a sister, and the idea was going to be that Ahsoka was going to have like a love interest with one of those, like with the brother. But in the end, they were just like, well, it would work better as, two sisters and stuff, and they're kind of, there's like a sisterly bond almost with them and Ahsoka in a way. I don't know. It doesn't really work, though, because we haven't had much time with them. Whereas, like, other characters that we know really well, like Saw Gerrera, it's like, when we see them, we're like, oh, shit, like, this is, granted, at this point, we've seen Saw Gerrera in so many, like, different shows and games and stuff, but still, it's like, the character well enough to be like, okay, this is what he's about, this is why it's cool that we're seeing him in this time, because it all leads into, like, where he is in Rogue One, but for these characters, we don't really have that, because we've only ever seen them and like a few episodes of Clone Wars. But I was just sort of shocked to see them as well because they were not all that well received. And granted, like all of this stuff is probably written like a long time ago, basically. And so it wouldn't really make sense to completely redo everything and find different characters to put in that role. But I guess that sort of wraps up my thoughts for that episode. Do you have anything else you wanted to say about it?
The episode name and description got leaked like a day earlier or something.
And it was fake. It was a fake leak. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't
know. I just know the internet was losing their mind because they were like, oh, someone, like, there's smugglers or something. Maybe it's Bane. Maybe it's Boba Fett. It could be this and that. Blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, it's just the sisters. Okay.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that because I had texted you that.
Yeah.
Let's see. What was it?
But it was just disappointing. Like, because I don't want to let spoilers and rabbit holes, get me excited for stuff, but
they deleted it off of Reddit, so I don't remember what it was. But it was something like they're getting hunted, and it's like two people are hunting them, sort of thing. But in the end, that didn't actually happen, and that was kind of unfortunate. But
there's a part where Wrecker, he's like has to jump across a gap, and he does, and like hits his head. Again,
it's the classic Wrecker move, just getting a big old bonk on the head.
Bonking your head.
Yeah.
And then this time he full on like passes out and then is saying like good soldiers follow orders, and he's like getting ready to go psycho on them, and then he kind of comes to again. So it's like building even more into this. Ooh, he's gonna go loopy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I thought the sisters talked to a hooded figure at the end of this episode. And they're like, ooh, we found some clones or something. And my initial thought was, I did think Bail Organa.
Yeah. It looked exactly like his little, like, cloak thing.
Yes. Yes. So we had to wait a week to see if we were
Yeah.
right.
Well, and I'm thankful for that because like I was half expecting them to not address that like ever,
For
like for
episodes
their
and episodes,
like
yeah.
yeah, at least until like the end, and that would be a like a build into season 2 of Bad Batch or something. But
Mm-hmm.
we lucked out, and I guess that'll sort of bring us into the next episode, which is Battle Scars. And the description for that one is as they traverse a decommissioned medical facility, the Batch encounter an unexpected threat. And basically, Captain Rex shows up at the beginning of the episode to Sid's little, I guess, bar or whatever you want to call it. And it turns out that he was the one who was the Martez sisters' contact, and he has this like cool looking cloak now that he's wearing. And they basically tell him that, the Bad Batch is hanging out with Sid. So he goes there and he convinces them that they really need to prioritize getting their inhibitor chips removed. Because, I don't know, there's a whole thing where Tech was like, well, I don't think it's that big a deal because, I don't know, we had the scanner. We've been fine
Rex
so
Rex is
far.
getting ready to shoot him on the
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah, he has this fucking hand on his pistol, and it's like, dude, that almost
Yeah.
got like crazy. But he's able to convince them that they need to go, and so for some reason they decide the best course of action is to go to the planet Braca, which you may or may not remember from the video game Jedi Fallen Order, which is like a big old like junk planet where they have all of the, I guess, decommissioned ships and stuff, and there's like a scrapping guild that basically takes all the scrap from them and sells them and stuff. But um, along the way, they're kind of having to go through, I guess, all this different rubble and stuff, and they have like I don't know if is it the garbage monster from A New Hope that like
No,
grabs onto
because
them?
that's like it's got a little eye on its
Yeah.
little stem thing.
It's that sort of deal though, where it's like there's a garbage monster like grabbing at him and stuff, and
Yeah,
of
Hunter's
course,
like stay above the water line before you see it. And it's like okay, so they're gonna absolutely have to fight this monster.
yeah. And of course, Wrecker gets another bonk on the head, and now his head is like really hurting. And we finally get a payoff for all these fucking bonks on the head. And he, his inhibitor chip activates, and he's going to fight him and stuff. And unfortunately, the fight doesn't last all that long. It's a little tense for like, I don't know, a minute or two, but they eventually like corner him and stun him, and then they put him inside of this medical thing so they can remove the chip. And the rest of the batch, they get theirs removed as well, so that kind of tied up that, I guess, loose end, if you want to call it that. And the episode ends with some members of the scrapping guild basically contacting the Empire and being like, yo gotta like come out here. There's some mischievous afoot, like weird stuff going on. So what did you think of the episode overall?
This has been one of my favorites. Really good episode. I appreciate that stuff is happening and this is plot focused, not just a micro adventure. Seeing Rex was awesome. Like you'd think he'd be kind of overused at this point, but he's still fantastic. I liked Wrecker going crazy, but they resolved that inhibitor chip plot way faster than I thought they would. I definitely thought Wrecker would have to be like put down or sent away, or all of them would be struggling with the inhibitor chip once Wrecker goes, because they're like, oh shit, we thought we were deviants, but Wrecker turned. We need to do something about ours. This all just like really got resolved quickly, like all in this episode.
Yeah.
Might as well have not even had the build up for Wrecker going crazy, honestly.
When it's like, I don't know, I never felt like they really were seriously considering like, shit, do we gotta like kill Wrecker?
Right.
And I feel like that would have increased the stakes a little bit.
It's
like
a missed opportunity.
Yeah, and the other thing is I wish that this had been like a 2-part episode where it's like you have this and then it ends with Wrecker, his chip getting activated, and then have another episode of them like having to hide, and eventually, having Omega getting separated was a good call, but I think had they had more time to let that kind of build up and that tension build up in a episode on its own, I think that would have worked
I agree,
a lot better.
because he goes like head to head with all the members and just wrecks shop. Like
Yeah.
they're trying to stun him, and he throws another member into the stun beam, and his unconscious body knocks that other dude out, and then he fights Hunter one on one in like close combat, and just like strangles him.
Yeah.
And yeah, even he's coming after Omega because she's the last conscious member, and he's like, "You're all traitors to the Empire," and blah blah blah. And he's running after her, and it's scary. Like she has to crawl away, and he's trying to grab her as she's crawling, and all this stuff. But no, what I wanted is it started where, so they go into this old Venator ship on Braca, and they go inside to the medical bay to get this process started. They're scanning Wrecker, and he's like, "Owie, my head," and they're like, "Shut up." And they're about to hit him with the sleepy shot, and he grabs Tech's hand, who's the one is doing the thing. Grabs Tech's hand, and goes like, "You're a traitor to the Empire," blah blah blah, and grabs his throat. And I'm like, "Oh shit!" But then he just kind of throws him into a locker and knocks him out and goes after the other ones. I'm like, dude, if he just fucking like broke his neck in his hand, it was just like, "Oh, you're a traitor."
Well, like that would have.
Oh shit! Yeah.
That would have made it like if one of them had died in that scuttle, then when you do take his chip out, that would have been something that he would have had to deal with. Yeah. That would have been really interesting, but
because they were just like when they took his chip out, he found Omega, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do all that," and she's like, "It's fine, no one got hurt." And it's just like, man. That would have been awesome, and you would have gotten to kill Tech, so it's like a win-win. But a little detail I noticed that was funny is they're shaving their heads a little bit to get the chip out, but Hunter still has all his luscious, beautiful Stallone hair. So didn't see a spot that he got it out. What was I gonna say? Then another thing that bothered me in this episode was, he's crawling along. There's this big gap in the ship, and there's water below, and they throw a cord over, and everyone crawls across the cord, and they're like, "All right, Wrecker, your turn." And he tries to crawl across. He's too fat, so he's breaking the cord, and he falls, but the cord catches his leg, so he's dangling over the water, and he's like, "I'm good," and that's when the monster comes out. But they're like, "Wrecker, climb the rope." I'm like, why the fuck would he need to climb the rope when there's 4 of you that could pull him up? Like, they're all just like yelling at him to climb it when they could just like start pulling on the fucking rope. And the whole time I was just like, pull him up! But I guess not. I guess he's on his own because fuck him. But yeah, I mean, it reminded... I watched this episode with Ryan too, and there was a part where, the rope catches his leg and he's dangling over the water, and you see the big shadow of the monster like start coming for him. And Omega's like, "Wrecker, climb the rope," and he goes, "Why?" And then tentacles come out and just like pull him underwater. And I was like, "Ryan, that's you." And it was pretty funny. But no, I mean, all in all, it was a good episode.
Yeah.
I wish they went more into like, because they can do it. They do Order 66. They do like I want people to die. It's war. They incinerated civilians earlier in the show.
Yeah.
You can kill some members of this show. Like, it would have gravity.
But that won't sell toys though, and that's.
You want a Tech toy?
Someone may.
You want to get his goggles? Ooh.
Or would you rather have that or the dead corpse of Tech as a toy?
Yeah. Yes. Well, like, they've already like ruined selling Crosshair stuff. He's like not even in the show anymore.
Yeah, that's true, and that's been really disappointing. Like, well,
I know.
I kind of want to talk like overall discussion about the show because we're nearing the halfway point. Because it's going to be 16 episodes. Do you think we've probably talked about this a bit in the past, but should this have been 16 episodes? Like, I feel like this would have been a good, I don't know, episode 3 and an 8 episode sort of like story. Like, I don't know why they waited this long to get this off the table. Like, I feel like with how much build-up they had for it, the payoff just wasn't really what I was hoping for. I don't know. Where do you fall on that?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of fucking filler, it feels like. Like, I could condense this plot into, I think, 4 episodes if I had to. Like, the first episode, absolutely 100% needs to be in there the whole time. Second episode... What do they even do again? I forget. They go to they find the deserter clone. That didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Episode 3, they go to the moon thing, and Wrecker hits his head. but you don't even need to really start with that.
He
Like,
hits
it's
his
not,
head so many
yeah.
damn times that you could just skip that
Right.
episode and it
So
wouldn't
episode
matter.
3 you don't need. You should
Yeah.
watch it for Crosshair stuff because it's cool, but you don't need it.
Yeah.
Episode 4, they're getting tracked down by a bounty hunter that was in Mandalorian, so no one really cares about her at this point. Like, she just kind of shows up, so you don't need that. Episode 5, the Rancor is stupid, but what you could do is, like, going to Sid is important. This lizard lady who's giving them the missions. So, like, after the first episode, that could be their contact. Be like, I'd heard about this lizard lady helping the Jedi. Let's go there.
Yeah.
So, bam, second episode, go to Lizard Lady. And instead of her giving the mission of the Rancor, give them the mission of the head.
Yeah.
And then they meet the sisters and they talk to Rex. Episode 3 could be this one, where Rex helps them with their inhibitor chip. And then I like what you said. I would like it to be like a 2-parter. I would like people to get fucking hurt or killed, or Wrecker to have any sort of consequences to this. Because, like, them having the inhibitor chip literally did not change a single thing.
Yeah.
Like, they all got it out, no problem, and it's over. It's just like, oh, okay. It's weird build up to something that was just kind of like, and it was a set piece for 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in agreement on that. And the next thing I wanted to talk about, and you and I have talked a bit about this already, is the big elephant in the room with all these Marvel shows that have been coming out. The just, I guess, gap in quality, if you want to call it that, between the Star Wars shows that have been on Disney Plus and in the span of, like, what, 6 months or whatever, like, the just 3 shows that they've had so far for Marvel have just completely overshadowed everything that they've done for Star Wars. Do you think that...
I wouldn't say quality. Like, the quality is great. Like, it looks fantastic. The characters are good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of attention. I'd say substance. Like,
Yeah,
in
that's a better way
every
of
Marvel
putting it.
show, there's a plot that is progressing every beat of every episode, and they're contained series. They're like 6 to 8 episodes, so they have no time to focus on anything else. With this, it just feels like this and The Mandalorian. They're just kind of bumming around half the time, wasting time. Granted, it's like still a fun thing to watch, but it's kind of frustrating. So I would like to see them do a more focused show like they're doing with Marvel. I'd like to see more focused plot lines, and I'd like to be getting something out of every episode instead of just like, oh, I guess I'm wasting my time for 20 minutes watching Star Wars characters do stuff.
And my hope, I guess, is that as we, continue to get more of these shows, and they continue to get different creators involved, I guess my hope is that we'll have someone come along who kind of has that, I guess, similar, approach to storytelling in terms of just not having, like, a lot of fat. So,
yeah, like I love Dave Filoni. I really do. He's done wonderful things
loves
for
his
Star
filler.
Wars, but he loves his fucking
loves
filler.
it.
I know. It's just like, bro.
Yeah, like, ugh. Even going back to, like, Avatar: The Last Airbender, like,
Yeah.
ugh.
And
Any other
then
thoughts?
it's like it feels like Tolkien, where it's like, let's write for 3 chapters on the architecture of Minas Tirith because
Yeah.
nobody cares but me. But also, it's the Battle of Helm's Deep. It's like 2 pages. It's fine. What'd you want? It's over. Get over it. It's kind of like the big stuff that should be happening and being built up. It's just like, and we're past it.
Yeah.
More wacky Star Wars stuff. What'd you think would happen? It's like, okay.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, I think back to the last season of Clone Wars, it was like an hour-long special for the Siege of Mandalore, but then when you think about, like, what it took to get there, it was like 4 episodes with the Martez sisters or something
God,
absurd
I
like
hate
that.
them. I know.
And it was
And
like,
the Bad Batch, like the Bad Batch, were stupid.
yeah, I really
they were a
didn't
waste
care.
of time in the Clone Wars.
Yeah. I mean, it was just really to get Echo back. That was the whole, like, but they could have done that in 1 episode. Like, I don't know why
Right.
they had, like, a 2-episode or
No,
3
the
episode
final
thing.
season of Clone Wars, all it needed to be was the Siege of Mandalore. That's all we wanted to see. So it's frustrating when you have that much time, because when you say your series is going to be this many episodes, I'm like, oh shit, and you're teasing big stuff. I'm like, there's going to be so much content here. It's going to be fantastic. But then you waste your time on all this. It's just like, oh man, I got this new video game where you can do all these like crazy. You can paraglide and shoot bazookas out of it, and you're like, whoa! And you're like, yeah, but we're gonna spend most of the time just kind of collecting these herbs. Like there's a lot of herbs in this game, so you just gotta pick them. And it's like, but I wanted to. I thought when you said it's a longer game that I'd get to do more cool stuff.
Yeah.
Not just me. And they're like, oh, you don't like the game? I'm like, no, I do, but I didn't want to pick herbs this whole time. I wanted more bazooka shooting. It's just kind of like that. Like, I don't want to say I don't like it, but it's just like, man, I want more cool stuff to happen.
I'm with you on that. Like, I just, my expectations weren't high going into this show as it is, but I was like, it's Star Wars, you know, so there will probably be some exciting stuff, but it really just hasn't been.
No, it's, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's, my hope is that since, because I think one of the writers or, like, I don't know, creative people on the show on Twitter was like, yeah, the second half of the show is, like, the meat and potatoes, I guess. Like, that's when, like, the big stuff is gonna happen. So my hope is that that actually comes to fruition.
Why would you design? Why would you create episodes knowing they're not the meat and potatoes?
That raises that question as well. It's like, you know, why I don't understand. It's just, it's a really bizarre.
Well, he wanted everybody to have a balanced diet, so eat your goddamn green beans, and it's like, no, give me the meat and potatoes.
Or it's like, I don't know, just corn or something. It's like, here's a bunch of corn. Here's a shit ton of corn.
That makes me even more upset, because if they know the quality stuff and they know the non-quality, it's like, don't waste our fucking time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I don't know. So I'm hopeful, but I'm not really holding my breath anymore. And
I want to get on here and say, like, holy shit, that was such a fucking incredible episode and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like every time we do this at the end, we're just like, well, no, we're just, you know, it's not much. It's kind of, you know, it's all right.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, these episodes that we've been doing have been so short, just in terms of, like, the discussion. It's like, I want to have, like, a long-ass talk about, like, holy shit, like, this and this and this. But there's not really been anything in, like, a lot of these episodes where I've been like, damn, like, that thing was just epic. Like, and I don't know. I'm hopeful that they'll do that, but I don't know, it's easy to start getting jaded at this point, especially when we're doing them in, you know, like 2 a week sort of thing, or doubling up on them. Oh, well, do you have any other thoughts on the show before we wrap things up?
Nah. Nah, I don't know what we'll see at this point. It's just kind of like, I don't know where the story's going now without the inhibitor chip and having met Rex and all that stuff. It's like, okay, well.
Yeah. I guess
learn
with that,
more about Omega.
Yeah.
But
with that, we're going to wrap it up for this episode of the Boyos Discuss. If you enjoyed it, then we would appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Till next time.
See you around,